Using the strategies page, you can price the products in your inventory based on various rules and criteria. You can create multiple strategies and switch between them as needed. You can also apply different strategies to different product groups and automate strategy transitions at specified times or dates. There are two ways to create a strategy. You can either use the ready-made templates provided by SmartRepricer by clicking the button, or you can create your own strategy by defining all criteria and settings yourself. Let's take a look at the ready-made templates first. Depending on your focus, you can choose a template that aligns with your sales policy or strategy. You can select different strategies for FBA and FBM products. The ready-made strategies here are templates customized by SmartRepricer based on the specific areas you want to focus on. You simply need to choose your preferred strategy, set the minimum and maximum profit margin values, and complete your strategy. If you want to customize profit margins for each product in your inventory, you can use the Enter Manually option. You can specify the profit margin for each product individually and upload this file to SmartRepricer to automatically apply the chosen strategy based on the profit margins you've defined. Of course, SmartRepricer needs to know the cost of your products. If your store is integrated with seller running, these costs can be automatically transferred. If you're not using seller running or don't want to integrate with it, you need to define the cost values by uploading a file to SmartRepricer. If you want SmartRepricer to automatically determine your minimum and maximum profit margin values, you can choose the raw option. You can specify a minimum and maximum percentage, such as stating that you want to list your products in the range of a minimum 24 and a maximum 56 profit margin. Another option is a fixed profit, where calculations are based on a fixed amount you set, such as wanting to make at least $5 or at most $30 profit on each item. Let's continue. Once you enter these values, you can see the name of the selected template and the minimum and maximum values just below it. To remember this strategy later, you can give it a name and save it. Note that for ready-made templates, you cannot change the name assigned by SmartRepricer. However, for strategies you create yourself, you can edit this field as you wish. To save this ready-made strategy, the only remaining step is to complete the remaining strategy. You can view the ready-made strategies you've created, check the minimum and maximum values, and see how many products are assigned to each strategy. Among the ready-made strategy templates, you can select different strategies for FBA and FBM products. If you prefer to create your own strategy instead of using a ready-made template, you can use the Create Your Strategy button to customize everything yourself. Here, if you want some features to be presented to you as ready-made, you can explore the options prepared for you. For example, if you want a buy box compatible setting, you can choose it and proceed. If you want no settings to be made, stating that you want to do all the settings yourself, you can choose the custom strategy and start adjusting each setting individually. Let's take a look at the settings together. You can start by selecting how you want to compete. Regardless of the scenario, you might always want to be the lowest, whether it's the lowest FBA price, the lowest FBM price, the lowest FBM price after FBA, or focusing only on the buy box. You can set your preferences accordingly. If you enable the only recommended sellers option, your competition will only be among these sellers. Recommended sellers is a criterion determined by Amazon. If a seller is among the recommended sellers, your competition will be based on these sellers. You can decide whether to include Amazon in your pricing competition or not. For example, you may not want to compete with Amazon on some of your products. You can create a strategy by disabling this feature and continue pricing without competing with Amazon. If you have certain sellers you want to include or exclude in competition, or if you want to include or exclude sellers based on their feedback ratings, you can set these criteria. For instance, you can create an option to not include sellers with a feedback rating below 7000, or you can filter based on the number of feedbacks. If a seller has, for example, less than 5 feedbacks, you may choose not to include this seller in the competition. You can also decide whether to include or exclude sellers who list products that are not currently active but will start selling later. You can choose to include or exclude sellers who commit to a shipping time beyond a certain commitment period. For example, if a seller commits to ship the product within a week, you may choose not to include such sellers in competition. You can specify your preference for used products here, or you can set criteria based on your sales rates. For instance, if a product sells more than 5 units a day, you can instruct the repricer to get involved in such cases. Alternatively, if a product sells fewer than 5 units, you may want this strategy to come into play. This can be crucial for certain products in your inventory. For example, if a product is expected to sell 4 or 5 units a day under normal conditions, but it's selling much less on a given day, it could indicate that competitors have offered lower prices or taken the lead in competition. In such cases, you can create a special strategy for this product to automatically adjust your prices or adopt a different strategy based on your competition type when this condition is met. On the next page, you can continue to define rules. You can specify how you want to price in competitive situations. For example, you may want to price one above or below the seller you're competing with. You may want to list at the same price. You may want to decrease the price until you win the buy box, or decrease the price until it reaches the minimum price. Depending on the percentage you specify here, you can continue to list below the buy box until you win the buy box. You can create different pricing strategies for FBA sellers, prime sellers, or products sold by Amazon. For example, you may want your price to always be, say, $1.05 above the price set by Amazon for a product sold by Amazon. If you don't want to use these features, you can choose what to do if there is no competition for a product. You can choose from the list or set a rule based on a minimum and maximum price condition that you define. For example, if there is no competition for a product, you may want to set your minimum price at a 70 rate. If there is no buy box for the product, meaning Amazon is not assigning a buy box for that particular product, you can choose from the list what action should be taken. If the competition exceeds your minimum price, i.e., if another seller in the competition offers a price lower than your minimum price, you can choose your preferred action in the same way. If the competing seller matches your minimum price, you can again select from the list what action should be taken. You may also set a rule based on your sales velocity. For example, if a product sells less than 4 units per day, you might want to decrease its price by 1 WI. Now, even if competition doesn't require it, if there is no competition for a product, its price might be higher compared to similar products, affecting sales. In such cases, you can establish a rule based on your sales velocity. For instance, depending on your sales volume, you may choose to adjust the price weekly. For example, if a product sells more than 10 units per day, you might want to increase its price. You can also establish a price criterion based on the product's stock status. For instance, if the stock falls below 5 units, you may want to increase the price. Alternatively, if the product is out of stock, you can continue listing it using the maximum price. On the next page, you can specify what to do when you win the buy box. You can choose to gradually increase your price, decrease your price, disable the repricer, or instruct the repricer not to make price updates until the buy box is lost. In the next area, similar to the ready-made strategy templates, you can choose whether to manually determine the minimum and maximum profit margin values or automatically set percentage-based minimum and maximum profit margins or fixed price-based profit margins. Here you can see a summary of the information you selected for your strategy. You can give your strategy name, complete the strategy. After giving a name to your strategy, you can complete the strategy and then go to your inventory to select only a few products, apply the strategy you created, and directly complete the process. If you want the strategy you created to cover all products in your store and be managed through this strategy, you go to your stores and select the default strategy you want for your store. After making your selection, it will be saved directly. All the strategies you create will be visible on the strategies page. You can edit the manually created strategies anytime and make changes to the points you want to change in your strategy. After making adjustments, click the complete button to save the changes. Unfortunately, you cannot edit ready-made templates created by SmartRepricer. Ready-made templates are strategies created by SmartRepricer using artificial intelligence. In the strategy section, you can see all the strategies you have created. You can view and manage your strategies for individual products in your list by clicking on the products or by going to the product detail page. You can see the strategy type assigned to a product and the update history under this strategy type. If you want to disable the repricer for a specific product, or if you want to change the strategy for a product, you can do so from the product detail page. After making these selections on the product detail page, don't forget to click the update button.